They seemed to be very experienced in exploring such dark depths, so they quickly came up with a solution. Zhang Yi thought to himself, I've learned another trick. Next, we'd better not act rashly. Let's wait for the drone to send back feedback. Karen's words were cut short before he could finish speaking, because everyone heard a ringing sound that swept in from all directions. Careful! Olive reminded him that he had drawn his holy sword, its cross-shaped blade and hilt intersecting, and placed it before his chest as he prayed. Immediately, flames rose from the edge of his sword. The golden holy flames carried an inviolable majesty. Not far away, thunder roared and Odin, the Norse god-king, displayed his power. Lancer Overlord. A winged celestial horse made of lightning appeared beneath him, its body covered in silver lightning armor. He gripped the eternal spear tightly in his hand, its light shining in all directions, but it was quickly compressed into a small space by the boundless darkness. Fatty Sue swallowed hard and quickly used his bat vision to survey his surroundings. In the boundless darkness, the most terrifying thing is not sensing the appearance of something, but being unable to sense anything at all, yet having to keep waiting for that unknown thing to appear. He mustered his courage and had to comfort Li Yangyang, who was standing next to him. Yangyang, don't be afraid, I'm here. If anything tries to hurt you, it'll have to get past me first. As Fatty Sue was talking, he got so engrossed in looking into the distance that, when he turned around to look at Li Yangyang next to him, he found that she was nowhere to be seen. Fatty Sue was startled. He looked around and suddenly realized that there was no one around. His heart skipped a beat and he shouted, Yangyang, Leota, Uncle Yu, where are you all? Holy crap, am I under some kind of illusion? Zhang Yi's icy voice came from below. Why are you standing so high up when we're just talking? Upon hearing this, Fatty Sue subconsciously looked down and, without realizing it, found himself lifted into the air by something. Everyone else looked at him with serious and puzzled expressions. Get down, Zhang Yi shouted. Without the slightest hesitation, Fatty Sue jumped forward. Only after he landed did he see clearly what it was. The water beneath their feet was not deep, yet a huge bronze pillar silently rose from where he had been standing. This bronze pillar looked very familiar. It seemed to come from the same civilization as the Spear of Longinus that Zhang Yi had stored in his alternate dimension, and their size and thickness were almost identical. Be careful, everyone. We don't know what this thing is. Zhang Yi gripped the demonic blade tightly in his hand and surveyed his surroundings with his mental domain. Something trouble is coming. Only he knew how serious the trouble was right now. Boom! Beneath their feet, more and more bronze pillars emerged. 1, 2, 10 dozens. Within the limited field of vision, one can see that the densely packed bronze pillars almost fill the entire space. Boom! They kept growing upwards, getting longer and longer, forming a huge bronze forest. The bronze pillars were rotating, and they began to move at a moderate speed, which was dazzling. Is this a trap set by the sealed land? Odin said. No one could give him an answer, but since it was a sealed place, why would the sealed mammon set up a trap? Could it be that the trap was built by the wandering ghosts who were drawn by his power and willingly fell into depravity? However, according to the Oxai, the civilization of the Shadow Walkers was also extremely backward, comparable to theirs. Could they have built these bronze pillars? It's hard to imagine that such a backward civilization could have created them. Let me test the quality of these bronze pillars. All of you here are among the world's top experts, so of course you will not be afraid in the face of battle. Odin was the first to make a move. In his right hand, terrifying lightning was gathering, and a huge lightning spear roared in his hand. He tilted his head back, aimed at the forest of bronze pillars in front of him, and hurled it with all his might. The lightning spear pierced the air with a thunderous roar, instantly tearing through the sky and crashing into a bronze pillar. What happened next made everyone's pupils constrict. Odin, a bishop-level being, struck with all his might, but the terrifying lightning spear had no effect on the bronze pillar. Instead, it silently turned into specks of light and disappeared. What is this material? Odin frowned as he spoke, but he didn't seem too flustered. They had dealings with prehistoric civilizations and knew of materials that could isolate mutant energy. Zhang Yi's Skycia fortress incorporated barrier stone materials. Clearly, the bronze pillar is more resistant to supernatural abilities than the barrier stone. As if stimulated by the lightning spear, the huge bronze array underwent a drastic change. All the bronze pillars suddenly accelerated their rotation speed and moved closer to where everyone was. Boom! Zhang Yi suddenly shouted, Strengthened and orc types, go up. If your superpowers don't work, try using your physical bodies to defend yourself. This thing is very sinister. Use weapons, don't make direct physical contact. Luke Karen immediately activated Gundam mode, piloting Snow Owl to block the team's left side, while Flower maintained her second form, over 20 meters long, blocking the right side. Uncle Yu and Liang Yue were to the side and behind. Facing him is Zhang Yi, who is empowered by the demon god armor and possesses formidable close combat skills. Boom! The bronze pillars rapidly approached them, the area in the center getting smaller and smaller, and the human alliance dared not make any rash moves. Orb said to Zhang Yi, "Chaos, chaos, can you take us away from this area?" Zhang Yi said, "They're moving too fast. Before we figure out what's really going on, it's best not to make any rash moves. Otherwise, we could be in mortal danger." The enormous bronze pillars moved rapidly, forming walls that surged forth like a tidal wave. The area around Zhang Yi and his group was surrounded by a shape resembling the opening of a well. The bronze pillar suddenly stopped moving. Then from above, those bronze pillars began to collapse. It turns out that it was not a single bronze pillar, but a pillar composed of individual bronze pillar pieces. Boom! Countless bronze pillars rained down from the sky. They were so simple and unadorned, yet even the segmented part was as large as a heavy-duty truck. "Let me give it a try." Uncle Yu stepped forward first. He was wearing heavy armor, raised his right fist, and a hand cannon launcher popped out from his arm, firing a miniature missile. The missile struck the bronze pillar that was descending from above, and a violent blast wave swept outwards. However, this attack had little effect. The bronze pillars continued to fall, and their surfaces remained undamaged. "It's incredibly resilient." "That's right," Zhang Yi said. "They are made of the same material as the Spear of Longinus. It can now be confirmed. That's a material capable of preserving billions of years. Something beyond human comprehension, probably made from metallic materials from the core of a star." "I'll do it." Liang Yue's calm voice came through. She quickly assembled a long stick, pushed off the ground with both feet, and then soared into the sky, smashing the stick into the falling bronze pillar fragments. The stick was swung until it was deformed, and with a whooshing sound, it crashed into a huge bronze pillar. A deafening sound rang out, and the bronze pillar split was sent flying in another direction by the impact. Liang Yue was also thrown back by the impact. She quickly adjusted her body and landed on the ground, dissipating all the force. Boom! The bronze pillar suddenly shattered and fell into the water. Zhang Yi saw this and understood what was going on. It is very heavy and has a strong energy absorption effect, but it can be repelled by brute force. With this thought in mind, Zhang Yi decided to take action. He opened his right hand towards the sky, directly opening a massive dimensional gate that sealed off the sky. After the bronze pillars descended, they fell directly into the dimensional gate, and in an instant, dozens of bronze pillars became Zhang Yi's possession. "It's done." Zhang Yi's eyes lit up. It was just as he had imagined. The alternate dimension is merely a doorway, without any changes in alternate energy. Therefore, materials capable of isolating alternate energy are ineffective against it. The other supernatural beings who were on high alert around them couldn't help but turn their surprised gazes toward Zhang Yi upon seeing this scene. The bronze pillar that they were helpless against was solved by Zhang Yi in such an easy way. Zhang Yi did not dare to be careless and continued to keep an eye on the bronze pillars that were constantly approaching. "If all goes well, we can collect them all." But soon he couldn't speak anymore, because the fragments of the bronze pillar that had fallen to the ground were slowly rising into the air, their surfaces radiating golden light, and being drawn together by some force to reconnect into a complete bronze pillar. Then it crashed down on them again. This time the bronze pillar split off, shimmering with white light like white smoke. Zhang Yi planned to repeat the same operation, but the bronze pillars ignored his dimensional gate, passed through it, and crashed into everyone. "What's going on?" Zhang Yi was momentarily stunned. He then said, "This is a man-controlled trap." They had no choice but to rush forward and use their own strength to block the attacks of countless bronze pillars. There are too many, absolutely too many. The massive bronze pillars, densely packed together, almost filled the surrounding space. Each pillar was 200 to 300 meters high and tens of meters thick, and the fragments that fell from it were also terrifyingly large. The key issue is that the inability to use superpowers leaves many people without a way to fight against him. The massive bronze pillar continued to fall in pieces, forcing everyone to scramble for cover. Fortunately, for the time being, the falling speed still followed the laws of gravity, allowing them to dodge the attacks. However, the bronze pillars continued to move, getting closer and closer to them. If this continues, their room to maneuver will become extremely small, and they may even be crushed to death by these bronze pillars. Odin roared and swept his lightning spear out, but even the supernatural abilities of a bishop-level mutant could not have any effect on these bronze pillars. He looked somewhat disheveled, but fortunately from the Asgardian side, a warlike lowly named Loki, Belit Thomas, carrying a fasces and axe, stepped forward. Carrying a battle axe, she stood at the very front of everyone, leading a group of melee mutants to shield the others from the most dangerous frontal attacks. However, this is not a long-term solution. We have to find a way to get out of here. Odin shouted, looking at the crowd. Do you have any ideas? Shums's body had already transformed into a series of dark shadows. In this place, he could indeed use his abilities to escape. However, he had two subordinates with him, and he could not take them with him when he left. Lord Chaos, can you use your dimensional gate to take us away? Shums asked Zhang Yi. At this moment, Zhang Yi and the others were also trying their best to fight against the bronze pillar fragments. The huge bronze pillar fragments were like huge trucks falling from the sky, and it was very difficult to resist them. It's no use. Zhang Yi raised the demonic blade in his hand, unleashing the power of his demonic armor, and suddenly shattered a bronze pillar, sending it flying. He then took the opportunity to answer Shums's question. My displacement distance is not enough to escape this area. Moreover, there are too many people. If you deviate even slightly, you will fall directly into this constantly moving bronze pillar formation and be strangled on the spot. Shums frowned deeply. He knew Zhang Yi was right. These bronze pillars, which cannot be resisted by supernatural powers, are incredibly tough. If anyone were to fall into them, they would likely be minced into pieces. Oreb looked in the direction of the O clan and asked, Clan Chief Odebio, do you have any way to deal with this situation? Audrey sighed deeply, his expression grave. This is a magic array from the sealed land, but this shouldn't be happening. We just arrived here. Why are we being attacked by it? He then solemnly addressed the crowd, saying, This is a magic array left behind by the sealed land, used to seal the demon god and prevent his apostles from breaking the seal. I have no way to break it. Oreb's gaze turned serious. Now we must unite and do everything in our power to escape this bronze pillar formation. I never expected to encounter such danger so soon after entering the sealed land. This made everyone feel that something was unusual. If it is truly just a sealed land, why would it adopt such a stance of annihilating outsiders? Is it really to prevent people from coming to lift the lockdown? It doesn't make any sense, no matter how you look at it. But now is not the time to think about that. They must escape from here first, as it is too dangerous. Chaos, are you still able to use your abilities? How about taking those bronze pillars into your other dimensional space? Olib asked. It's no use. These bronze pillars are strange. They've adapted to my abilities, and I can't collect them at all now. Zhang Yu was also unable to open that dimensional gate again, because he could sense that even though those bronze pillar fragments were absorbed into a certain interface of the 3,000 worlds, they had never severed their connection with the outside world and were trying to find a way to break through. Once he opens the door, they will fly out immediately. These guys seem to have a sense of self, but it is definitely not a living organism. A loud shout came from not far away, and Cardinals plunged his hands into the pool of water beneath him, as if he wanted to lift the entire ground up. The next moment, a huge torrent of water shot into the sky, like a violent waterspout, and actually repelled a large number of the falling bronze pillar fragments. Just as I imagined. He looked at his hands, and a smug smile spread across his face. The water here may not seem deep, but this area is vast and rich in water resources. Where there is water, there is my territory, the Lord of the Ocean. Fatty Sue said with a bit of a cheeky grin. Now it should be called the Lord of the Water Margin. Cardinals glared at him fiercely. After finding a fighting style that suited him, he began to become more proactive. Water, though seemingly the softest thing, can unleash boundless power. Cardinals' move, using softness to overcome hardness, employed a massive jet of water to neutralize the falling momentum of the bronze pillar's fragments, achieving an excellent effect. On the Ao clan's side, Ao Kangshan transformed into a giant vulture, spreading his wings towards the fragments of the bronze pillar falling from the sky. In an instant, 2 gusts of wind suddenly erupted and swept away. The storm was so fierce that it enveloped everyone. There was no way around it. The power of the Black Chariot-level mutants was too great, and such consequences were inevitable when it erupted in a space of less than 100 meters in radius. Fortunately, none of them were ordinary people, and they were able to withstand the aftershocks. The storm surged into the sky, and although it did not directly destroy the bronze pillars, it changed the direction in which they fell. Bang, bang, bang. One after another, bronze pillars fell into the water, creating huge waves. But soon after, they quickly rose into the air again and reassembled into tall bronze pillars. This cycle repeats itself endlessly, and the surrounding bronze pillars stretch as far as the eye can see, making it impossible to know how many there are. If things continue like this, even if nothing happens for the time being, we'll eventually be worn down by these bronze pillars. The dim environment, the distorted light, and the seemingly endless bronze pillars brought immense pressure to the human mutant force that had just entered the eye of the demon. But if we can't even break through here, how can we talk about sealing Mammon? Zhang Yi had no better solution at the moment. He saw his companions struggling against the fragments of the bronze pillars and quickly thought of a way to break the deadlock. By the way, these bronze pillars and the spear of Longinus are from the same source. So, without hesitation, Zhang Yi sheathed the demonic blade and then retrieved the spear of Longinus from the alternate dimension. I thought it would play some role, but the bronze pillar formation didn't change at all. Ignoring all that, Zhang Yi used divine refinement to secure one end of the spear of Longinus while tightly embracing it with both arms. It looks extremely comical, almost like an ant clinging to a big tree. However, with the demon god armor, this was not difficult for him. Zhang Yi used the spear of Longinus as his weapon and swung it vigorously toward the sky. When the spear of Longinus swung, smashing directly into the two bronze pillars. The results were surprisingly good. The eyes of everyone present lit up. The spear of Longinus is made of the same material as these bronze pillars, so the bronze pillars cannot deflect the force of an attack using the spear of Longinus as a weapon. Chaos, it's up to you. Everyone turned their hopeful gazes to Zhang Yi, hoping that he could lead them out of there. Holding the spear of Longinus, Zhang Yi charged left and right, actually managing to block the attacks of the split bronze pillars. He was greatly encouraged, changed direction, and chose a location to break through. After being struck by the spear of Longinus, those enormous bronze pillars began to collapse with a deafening roar. Great, stay close behind Chaos and break through to the front. Olib shouted. Zhang Yi led the way with the spear of Longinus, followed closely by the main force of the mutants. Bang, bang, bang. Zhang Yi swept aside the bronze pillars blocking his path like a bowling pin, then led the group forward. However, the bronze pillars that were knocked down will soon return to their original state, and then move towards their location. No matter how Zhang Yi and his group moved, they were surrounded by endless bronze pillars. Zhang Yi gritted his teeth and continued fighting. 5 minutes have passed. 10 minutes have passed. 20 minutes have passed. Fortunately, Zhang Yi didn't support this heavy weapon with his own strength, but rather with the demon god armor. Even so, he sensed that something was wrong. In 20 minutes, I've moved at least 3,000 meters, but I couldn't find the edge of this bronze pillar formation within my sensing range. These words plunged the hearts of those who had just seen a glimmer of hope back into despair. Could it be that this entire space is composed of an endless array of bronze pillars? This is an extravagant gesture, but when they think of those ancient civilizations that were almost divine, they understand it. That was the most brilliant masterpiece of an entire civilization. How could it not be magnificent and awe-inspiring, leaving future generations in awe? The darkness grew heavier, as if thick asphalt was compressing the space around them. The bronze pillar was an inanimate object. It could not be destroyed. It coldly surrounded the crowd and then destroyed them in the simplest way, by falling. Even these exceptional individuals, considered among the best in the world, found this situation extremely perplexing. They are very powerful and can fight for a long time. But human strength has its limits, and so does one's spirit. If this continues, we'll all die here sooner or later. An ancient chanting sounded. Audibia waved the bone scepter in his hand, closed his eyes, and moved his lips rapidly, chanting incantations. Black runes flowed along his skin, and streams of black energy surged wildly from his acupoints. He attempted to influence the bronze pillars with the oldest spells of the Auschwitz clan. But after chanting for a long time, he opened his eyes and let out a sigh. It's no use. We have no idea what these bronze pillars are. Perhaps they were placed here by the ghost walkers to block our way. Seeing that Adbia was also at a loss, everyone's hearts grew heavier. Odin rode his 8-winged steed, which neighed. and his face showed no fear, but rather a tenacious and high-spirited fighting spirit. We must try whatever method is available. Everyone, we are the most powerful mutants in the human world. We absolutely cannot fall here. Now everyone, let's all use our skills. Don't hold back any of your powerful abilities. Zhang Yu raised an eyebrow slightly. He does have some trump cards up his sleeve, but they're not easy to use. For example, Skycia Fortress and those Death of Love are too small, making the use of those weapons extremely risky. And more importantly, it's easy to accidentally injure friendly forces. His gaze unconsciously drifted to one side, toward Karen, the ferryman of the River Styx. This one is undoubtedly a bishop-level leader of the Colombian mutants. He was tall and strong, and also very powerful. Zhang Yu witnessed firsthand how he simply used his strong arms to knock away several bronze pillar fragments. A mutant with enhancement abilities. Just then, a familiar voice reached Zhang Yu's ears. "Old Zhang, we can't take care of everyone right now. There are too many people here. But if it's just the few of us leaving together, we should be able to find a way, right?" Zhang Yu turned his head and saw the face of a gentle young man. It was his close friend, Kant. Zhang Yu thought about it, and he did indeed have such an idea. However, doing so would require separating from the main force, which carries considerable risk. He could certainly put all those people into his shadow space, but Zhang Yu was unwilling to do that easily, as it would expose his secrets. But now that even his best friend Kant had said so, his resolve immediately hardened. Zhang Yu nodded, then said to Olive and the others, "I'll go scout ahead first. I'll be a small target by myself, and I can control the spatial nodes that appear. Wait for me. Once I find a way out, I will come back for you." This is the only way right now, and no one objected. Everyone knew that only by working together could they overcome the difficulties, and no one would be foolish enough to act recklessly now. Zhang Yu brought everyone in his team into the shadow space, then activated the mind domain and the bat system to the fullest extent, allowing him to clearly determine the location and direction of movement of the surrounding bronze pillars. Immediately, the dimensional gate opened. In one teleportation, a large number of bronze pillars appeared before him, rapidly pressing towards him. Without hesitation, Zhang Yu initiated the second shuttle. Useless. The third time. Useless. The fourth time. Useless. Zhang Yu held his breath and quickly moved in one direction. But after traversing dozens of times, he found that he was still surrounded by an endless forest of bronze pillars. Even when he tried to fly high into the sky, the bronze pillars seemed to grow wings, rising up from the ground and chasing after him, forming a huge bronze pillar array in midair. As Zhang Yu gazed at the towering bronze pillar before him, a sense of despair began to slowly surface within him. Could this be a forbidden zone? To prevent anyone from entering the sealed land, they are killing all intruders. Kant's voice came through. "Old Zhang, don't be discouraged. Think of another way, we'll definitely find a way out." Zhang Yu remained silent, having no better ideas for the time being. But at that moment, Yang Xingxin, who hadn't said a word the whole time, suddenly spoke up. "Brother, I think I know what this is."